This card will change a whole country and the lives of around 1.3 billion people. The so-called Aadhaar card is a biometric ID card which everyone in India will use to access state resources. Moreover, helped by these cards, India could soon become the first cashless country. India is moving very fast, which is why investors are focusing on it. India is currently the fastest growing big economy. Prime Minister Modi has launched numerous reforms. The biometric ID card drives digitization. A uniform tax system means that a single economy replaces the previous patchwork of 29 individual states divided by customs borders. And Indian stocks will have potential upside despite the recent bull market.
The 8th of November 2016, a historic date for the entire world. Donald Trump is elected President of the USA. But in India, at least, another man steals the show. In a surprise move, Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India since 2014, forbids 500 and 1,000 rupee banknotes, which represent around 86% of the cash circulating in the country. The action is intended to curb organized crime, tax evasion, and corruption.
Coming to some kind of insider, Sanjit Talukdar, former manager of one of the first major open-ended India funds, who is still looking closely at his home country, of course. To be realistic on this step, which effects we can expect?
In the short term, we can expect some negative effects, which will contribute about 0.5% of 1% of GDP. Not more than that, because of course only cash was withdrawn, and money is both cash and bank deposits in circulation, and most of it is bank deposits, 95-odd%. So in the longer term, however, only positive consequences will result from this. There will be a change of behavior, a move to the formal economy. People will anticipate that lightning can strike twice.
Giles Keating, president of the Werthstein Institute in London. Together with a biometric card, will India become the first cashless country?
Look, I really agree with Sanjit. I think that the demonetization is actually going to be helpful in the long run. And I think if you do combine it with the biometric identity cards, really India just has enormous opportunities for e-commerce and e-banking. I don't know if it'll literally become the first cashless country, but I think the economy will benefit very much.
And then does India now follow in the footsteps of Europe?
Well, I think this is vital. When India got independence, you really had something like nearly 30 separate economies with customs barriers between them. And that is just about to be torn down with the introduction of a nationwide sales tax, a little bit like bringing in single taxes for VAT across Europe. It creates a single market for the first time in India.
Sanjit Talukdar, a revolutionary effect indeed?
Well, Stefan, I would agree. I would tend to agree. And moreover, I would say it comes at a fortuitous time, because in a world of rising and nascent protectionism, India needs to look inwards towards its hinterland. And anyway, it is a very strongly consumer-driven economy. The consumer accounts for about 60% of GDP. Net exports only very minimal. So India here is playing to its strengths.
And as we always used to do it, going to Paris to Valérie Planiol, Werthstein Institute fellow, there are not only chances in India, but also some challenges. What is the main one?
Oh, the major one is the population growth. The UN expects the population to reach 1.7 billion inhabitants by 2050. This seems quite unmanageable. The truth is that India's population has been growing very fast for a long time. In 1950, the population was 376 million and it rose to 1.3 billion in 2015. So I think it can be done.
How can India meet this challenge?
Well, I think everything lies both in the rise of the population and the capacity for this government to increase the education for all the people and income distribution to enlarge consumer base. I think with the service economy as it is and growing and infrastructure needs, there are really many investment opportunities ahead.
Valerie was mentioned investment opportunities. Asking our India expert and former fund manager, is India currently attractive for investors?
I believe that Valerie is right. And in addition, one should look at the diversification benefits of investing in India for the German-based investor or indeed the international investor. The Indian market is much less correlated with European markets and the German market than, for example, the S&P 500.
Robert Ruttman in Zurich, you are a little bit more cautious regarding India as an investment?
That's right. The Indian equity market currently trades at 18 times its expected corporate earnings. That is a significant premium. In fact, it's 20% higher than what investors have been willing to pay for the market on average over the last 20 years. I also see no fundamental catalysts that would justify such expensive valuations. On the contrary, with about 30 to 40% of Indian loans stuck in companies that are unable to service this debt, I even see dark clouds on the horizon for India.
At least, coming back to Giles Keating in London, what is the intention to focus on in the new Zeitgeist India?
Well, I think it's very important to choose very carefully which stocks to go for. And that means not just going for all the big blue chips, which are in the well-known Sensex index, which is trading at an all-time high, but rather to look around more broadly.
Investors engaged with India had to digest two shocks last November. First, the risk of protectionism after Donald Trump's election. And second, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi eliminated 86% of banknotes. The Indian stock market shocked only briefly. In the long term, the Werthstein Institute is optimistic for the subcontinent. If you want to be there as well, add the Zeitgeist India to your portfolio.